Spoiler alert, the moment we all been waiting for. The pans are in. And this episode is going to have a couple of life lessons. First life lesson, don't worry about being perfect. I know these aren't perfect. I know you can still see them. It doesn't really matter. I got to move on with the project. I could go around and round and round trying to get it perfect, but it's just not ever going to happen. So it's going to be good enough, and we're going to move on to the next thing, which will be the seed pans. But for now, this is good enough. I sprayed just a quick coat of black, just plain paint on it, and just to cover it, so there's no bare metal there. But we're in. So there's life lesson number one. Don't worry about being perfect and sweating the small stuff. Just get what you can, as good as you can, and move on. And so following this will be a little bit of a recap of what happened to get here, and then the bonus life lesson at the end. The trouble with pinholes is, it's like icebergs. They only show you what's on the surface. When you bust through either grinding or welding, you get a little pinhole, and that usually means there's thin material around it. You just can't tell that it's thin until you go to try to fix the pinhole and you blow through it. So you just chase your tail around in circles, trying to get all these pinholes filled in, but eventually they'll get filled in. And that's a little bit of wet paint. Shoot, I'll have to repaint that, but you'll fill that in and keep moving. I kept catching myself on this sharp piece of metal. It's like holds the fender or something one, but it's a sharp pointing out piece of metal. There's one on the other side, so I cut this yoga mat, put a little slot in it, and I'm gonna take care of that so I don't keep cutting myself wide open. I put some blue tape over some of the plug holes in the bottom so I can kind of cut down on the light coming up through the bottom here. I put my work lights underneath here. You can kind of see a gap here. The light shine through, but that's okay. That's where the spot welds are. I'm going to put some seam sealer on the underneath before I put the underbody coating on. So that'll be sealed up and taken care of with the seam sealer. I don't have to weld that solid. That will be taken care of. I do have a couple of pinholes right there and a couple over there that I will take care of using this method. So I shine the light from underneath and then get out my little marker here, so I'll mark it, and we'll just keep going around grinding. You know, sometimes when you grind through a thin spot and you make another hole, so you just gotta kind of keep patching these little pinholes, and eventually all the pinholes will be gone once I finish grinding, welding, that sort of thing. Don't forget, these little guys are consumable product, and they're not intended to last forever. So if you start getting some problems, check these out, make sure that the hole is the right size, that they're still good. Sometimes they don't. They pick up stuff as you use it, and they eventually just don't work anymore. So get yourself a pack the right size. I got 030, which matches the wire size that I'm using, so I got a whole bunch, so I'm good to go for a bit. Alright, some real progress. All the major holes are now patched in. It's, well, you can see it's too late for grinding, so I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow, and then I'll finish putting the coat of paint on the new bits and check for one last round to see where the pinholes are, and then probably maybe go to the store and get some underbody coating maybe. Let's just see how far I get tomorrow. We still got a seat project to get done, but pick those and get those in the house and call her a day. A little bit farther around, and keep in mind that the welds aren't going to be perfect, the paint job's not going to be perfect, because I'm going to put that sound deadening mat over all of this, and you'll never see this anyway. So that's why I'm not spending a whole bunch of time making, grinding it perfectly smooth and making sure the paint job is awesome, because you're never going to see it. So I'm only going to put my effort where you're going to see it. So it's solid. There's no holes in it. And we're going to keep moving around to the passenger side, finishing the front side. Now that I got all the holes patched up. Now there's no big gaping holes in it. I gotta grind that down, but I'm gonna let this air out because it's getting kind of fumy in here. So I'm gonna stop for a while. All right. I was wondering why my fingers were getting so dang hot. I burned right through. Holy cow. Make sure sparks don't land on the non-leather parts of your gloves, because if you're not watching, they will burn you. So here is one of the Mustang seats, original seats. It's pretty good. There is a couple minor tears that are easily fixable. Maybe with another patch or something. I haven't decided, but they're going to be good enough to put on the car to get it up and running and drivable. So I'm going to clean them up and then put them back in. But in the meantime, we have a different project for seats. My other son's 69 Thunderbird has a big bench seat in the front, and he would rather not have a bench seat, but so we took some 74 Thunderbird seats from some other guy, and we're gonna mock something up and try to get that in and see how that goes. New plan. There's these things in the way, and when I went to measure, I don't have any metal down here. I'm screwing into air. Okay, you're gonna center that on the center where you want it. Push it straight down until it clicks. There you go, boom. Now it's got a tiny little hole right where the center is. That's where we're drilling. Life lesson number 2. We originally had these swivel seats for Ryan's Thunderbird. It turned out once we got everything put together, they were way too tall. The seats wouldn't fit under the steering wheel. I mean, you could fit the seat under the steering wheel, but your legs had nowhere to go. So we ended up making several different prototypes and mocking things up, and we finally got something to work. Plan H, I think, or I, maybe J. It definitely wasn't plan A or B, but they're in there now. So life lesson number 2 for this episode is that sometimes you don't get your plan A or plan B, not even plan C. Sometimes you got to go down the alphabet a little bit farther to get a plan that works.